You know, guys, for the last few years, I've been saying how Infinity Ward is, without a doubt, the worst developers of all time in Call of Duty, at least present-day Infinity Ward. And as it turns out, they continue to prove the Scadmaster's point. But before I get into that, I do have a quick little update. Now, the last time I made a video was on April 1st, or April Fool's, or Fooly's Holiday. And in that video, I discussed how on April the 3rd, we would be doing a little 24-hour not playing Call of Duty or Warzone or MW2 day, just to see what happens. Let's see if some people are on board with it. And I do have an update. Now, I saw this screenshot floating around on April 3rd, and before people freak out, I understand this was taken in the morning, but nonetheless, I do want to show you guys this. Warzone 2 on Twitch had 16.9 thousand viewers at one point in time in the morning. Now, a lot of big streamers don't start up, especially if you're in the West Coast, until about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 PST. And so, of course, that number could be a little misleading, but I haven't seen a number that low for Warzone in, I don't know, I think this is probably the lowest I've ever seen it ever, including all other mornings, by the way. And to bring up some Steam numbers over the last few days, Modern Warfare 2 as a whole, with Warzone 2, with DMZ, with raids, with Spec Ops, with campaign, with multiplayer, with ranked play, with everything included, did see a pretty significant dip in the player count on April 3rd. As you can see towards the very right, there was a dip from about 100k to about 50k on April the 3rd. And look, this is just on Steam. We're not going to see the player count numbers on anything else. Just remember what the Scat Maestro told you guys. Just learn how to read a trend. Take a stats class, search it up on Google. It's not that difficult to understand how trends work, but I do want to tell you guys that I am extremely proud of this number drop. Thank you very much. I have nothing to reward you with other than today's video, which is about Infinity Ward sucking cock. And I don't mean that figuratively, I mean that literally, metaphorically, mentally, and emotionally. Infinity Ward, you suck cock, and we don't like you. Now, it's been a little while since I've seen some leaks for MW2. Now, we all know that that's because of seasonal content. The game gets boring, it gets dry, it dies every couple of weeks. And now that we're about 6 days away from Season 3, there are finally some leaks that I can provide you guys with about Season 3. Now, this comes from the Ghost of Hope. He's a prominent leaker in the community, and I don't really question this being true or not. He says, new data mines suggest that gunfight maps for MW 2019 Part 2 multiplayer are cut up areas of existing 6v6 maps. And I just want to tell you guys this right now, without sugarcoating this at all. This is coming from the heart, from Scadmaster's internal soul, from the core. Infinity Ward has to be, without a shadow of a doubt, the worst developers in Call of Duty history because of this. And because of so many other things, it's just a multitude, a combination of all the bullshit that they have put on the community since MW 2019. Now, I know a lot of people are a fan of that game, and kudos to you, that's fine. Me personally, as somebody who's been playing for over 13 years, I have seen some really good Call of Duties in my lifetime. I have seen some really bad Call of Duties in my lifetime. MW 2019 is in my bottom 3 Call of Duties of all time, and that's not gonna change, and I'm sorry if you disagree, but that's just my opinion. Now, after a game like that and my thoughts on it, I expect a studio with the caliber of Infinity Ward to come back for their next title, which just so happened to be the sequel, which also just so happened to be named after MW2 from 2009, a game that's obviously going to nostalgia bait people into buying it, and especially after the COD Next event, where they told us that the Infinity Ward developers were learning from their mistakes from MW 2019. If you give a studio like Infinity Ward the right tools and the right feedback, the right budget, and if they're actually taking the community seriously, then a game like MW2 should be one of the greatest Call of Duties of all time, and I'm sure everybody can agree with that. Infinity Ward are most definitely capable. We've seen them do it back in the golden era. Of course, the team is different, and that explains why MW 2019 was so different and dog shit in my opinion, but if you're gonna bounce back, then fucking bounce back. What is this garbage heaping pile of shit of a game? There are multiple issues with this game, and we've talked about every single one of them on this channel, but the one thing that you guys know annoys me the most, the one thing that actually pisses me off the most, is the quality and the quantity of content that we have in this game. You guys know exactly how I feel about this. I think seasonal content is one of the worst things to ever be introduced into Call of Duty because we get issues like what we have in this game and last year in Vanguard. 2 maps per season, or as it turns out, it looks like we're only getting one 6v6 map this entire season. The game launches with very minimal maps, let's take this into consideration, only to find out that finally, after 3 seasons, over 6 months since launch, one of the most popular things about MW 2019, and what I consider to be the second best thing about that game, is Gunfight. And you mean to tell me that Infinity Ward, of all devs, with the budget that they have, with the success that they have, cannot produce original tiny ass maps for Gunfight, which was one of their most popular modes in their last game? You gotta be fucking kidding me. You're going to take one of your best innovations in Call of Duty history as Gunfight. Whether you're a fan or not, you can't deny that a lot of people were a fan of this. That you're going to take your shitty 6v6 maps that are, by the way, from Warzone 2 and condense those even more into Gunfight maps? The laziness from these fucking devs. What I simply don't understand right now is, what are the devs actually doing? We know for a fact that the content pool has already been laid out. There's already a formula, there's already a structure and a format for it for the entirety of this game. They knew from the start that they were launching their game with 9 6v6 maps. They knew that in Season 2, they were only going to include 2 maps. They knew in Season 4, they were going to include 2 maps. They know in Season 1, they were going to do Shoot House and Shipment. All of these decisions were predetermined. It's not like last minute they were working on Expo. That's not a thing. They knew that people were upset with Season 2, so they pushed it into Season 2. And now in Season 3, we only have one map, one 6v6 map coming in. I don't remember what it's called. It's in the rain. They're reusing assets from a state, which I guess is kind of cool, but all of those things have been predetermined. They have already been created. They've been created for months. So what the fuck has Infinity Ward been doing since launch? Can anybody who is a fan of Infinity Ward games, who is a fan of this game somehow, or MW 2019, can anybody please explain what the hell are the devs doing right now? What are they actually working on? And I think it's pretty obvious, guys. They're working on the next title. What is that title gonna be? I don't know, but it's gonna be the same bullshit. 10 maps at launch, probably 3 or 4 of them are gonna be pulled because of copyright issues. 1 or 2 of the maps are gonna be shit maps like Tarak and Border Crossing. And then of the original maps in there, they're gonna be pulled from the next Warzone. And then of those maps, when you want Gunfight maps, we're gonna pull apart that 6v6 map and make it a Gunfight map. The audacity that these developers have and the laziness, despite all the money that they're making. This is the issue that I personally have with Infinity Ward and Activision. When your game sells a shit ton of copies, you're earning a shitload of revenue from so many different areas, from pre-orders, from physical copies, from downloads, from bundles. In the first week of the game generated $1 billion, and people were saying, oh, that's to every Call of Duty hater out there. Now shut up, the game's successful because it's good. You got me fucked up. Whether you even think the gameplay is good, which is up for debate, you cannot deny that the amount of content in this game is extremely low, and now you're not even adding original content. The Gunfight maps could have been the easiest cop-out for Infinity Ward developers to be like, see, we do make original content. They're tiny ass maps. It can't be that difficult. You would have shut up so many different people who were saying, oh, you guys aren't giving us original content. You would have shut up a large portion of the community. Isn't that what the Gooch Slickers want? Don't you want the developers to prove themselves right and prove the community wrong? Why is the community constantly being proven right? We scream up to the heavens that this game has little to no original content, and the one chance you get to make the easiest type of original content, all you do is condense the original 6v6 maps that aren't even that original in themselves because they're pulled from Warzone. These developers are deadbeat as fuck. You can't make billions and billions and billions of dollars and not do shit with it. What's the point of making the money? Invest it back into the game and the developers and the production of new maps and new content. Personally, I don't give a fuck if John Wick comes into the game, or Harry Potter, or Harriet Tubman, or George Bush, or Osama fucking bin Laden. I don't care who comes in the game as a playable character. We're getting like Alexander and the girl, I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't care about them. I want some goddamn maps. I want some content. I want some rejuvenation in the game that's gonna keep me playing after 6 months, after 2 months of each season when there's nothing going on. Give us something to do. If you're giving us gunfight maps, good, that's a great thing. But for the love of God, can you not make it original? The gunfight maps aren't even going to be original content. And they're small maps. They're extremely small. Extremely disappointing, Infinity Ward. Holy shit, they've only given us one original DLC map since the launch of the game over 6 months ago. One original 6v6 map, and the chance they get to give us multiple original gunfight maps, they still can't do that. What the fuck are they good for? I know Infinity Ward is working on their next title, and I can guarantee you guys right now, 3 years in advance, that game's launch is going to be shit. And when they try to bait nostalgia with, oh, this is MW3, Modern Warfare 2019 Part 3, Modern Warfare 2019 Part 2, whenever they try that bullshit, don't fall for it, please. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Are you excited for the gunfight maps now knowing that they're not original? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles. It's been a very